Able to
Yeah,
all?
yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
yes. Uh, Presentation is it? Can you see my
No, madam, just
presentation?
just take your slide. You are presenting yourself. Just take your slide on. Yeah.
Yes, this is my slide.
Yeah. Now do
Even
slideshow.
yes. Oh, you can see the slides.
Yeah. Right now it is visible.
Okay,
Just
okay,
stay on your slide. Just stay on your slide. Yeah.
okay, okay,
Right now it is
okay.
visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Vijit. A very
Ma'am,
good.
ma'am, just click on the hide button, which
Yes, yes,
a pop-up has come.
yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon, dear delegates, my co-speakers, and my students. I first want to thank the organizers, Physiology Department of Mahadevananda Mahavidyalaya College for inviting me in this international webinar. My topic is bioactive factors in mother's milk, the fight against COVID-19. All through these 4 days, we have learned how the breastfeeding is so important for the baby. I would like to discuss why breastfeeding is very important for the baby. Why breast milk is the only food for the baby. And during this period, we have seen news in newspapers that a COVID positive mother gives a child with gives a baby COVID negative baby. After 2 days, the COVID negative baby turns into COVID positive baby, and again after 2 or 3 days of breastfeeding, the baby turns into COVID negative, and this may be due to this breast milk. The composition of the human milk is the biologic norm for the infant nutrition. And the human milk contains many hundreds and thousands of distinct bioactive molecules that protect against infection, inflammation, contribute to the immune maturation, organ development, healthy microbial colonization within the baby's intestine. So, what is milk? Milk is physically a very, very complex fluid. It contains carbohydrates and salts in true solution, the proteins, the caseins in colloidal dispersion, cells and cellular debris, and lipids mostly in emulsified globules. Now, what's the function of breast milk? We know that it gives the ideal nutrition to the baby. It gives passive immunity to the baby. It also helps the mother. The mild uterine contraction, it encourages the mild uterine contraction, and that returns the uterus of the to the pre-pregnancy stage, and it also helps to utilize the fat that has been stored in the mother during pregnancy to be utilized to produce milk. But this human milk is very, very dynamic in nature. That is, the composition changes diurnally from morning to night, and over lactation period, from colostrum to mature milk, it varies between from one mother to another mother, and it varies between populations. Different populations have different compositions of milk. This composition of milk is influenced mainly by the genetics of the mother. That is, maternal factors. They change the composition. They determine the composition. The environmental factor. where the baby is born, whether the baby is born in a big hospital where everything is sterile, or the baby is born in the footpath of Kolkata where it is not at all sterile. So the composition will change, the immunologic factors will change in the milk, and that environment will determine the factors, the immunologic factors present in the milk. The expression and management of milk, management of infant feeding, all these factors are change help to help this dynamic composition of milk. The nutritional components, they are sometimes synthesized in the lactocytes, some are synthesized in lactocytes, some are derived directly from the diet, that is lipid. 80 to 90% of the lipid of milk comes from the diet directly from the mother. The maternal stores, some come from the maternal stores. So according to duration of lactation, human milk is can be divided types into colostrum, the transitional milk, and the mature milk. The colostrum contains very low lactose, but it contains another factor, that is high human milk oligosaccharide, which is immunologic in function. The transitional and the matured milk, they contain mainly the components which gives nutrition and the development of the baby. There are differences between breast milk, cow's milk, and formula milk. We find that in the fat, here there is lipase along with the fat, which help to digest the lipids, the triacylglycerols in the intestine of the baby. The anti-infective factors, the immunoglobulins, lactoferrins, lysozymes, and many more, and hundreds and thousands of them, and they are not present in cow's milk or formula milk. So why breast milk is essential? It is for this reason that there is no alternative for breast milk. This is the human milk, the term milk and the preterm milk. That is when the gestational period is over 37 weeks, and when the gestational period is lower than 37 weeks, then the milk composition also varies. The milk composition varies within a particular lactation period from foremilk to hindmilk. In the first part of the milk secretion, it is watery in nature and it quenches the infant's thirst. And the hind milk is opaque, it contains a lot of fat and it satisfies the infant's appetite. So all these are the different groups of bioactive factors that are present in milk. Some are nutrients, the vitamins, the enzymes, antioxidant enzymes. Some are bioactive factors, the immunoglobulins, the human milk oligosaccharides, the antimicrobials, and the microRNAs. There are about 1400 microRNAs determined in the human milk. Some of them protect the baby from the cancer, like 148A, and there are 1400 has already been determined. I don't know how many are there. And there are the commensal bacteria group, which produce the environment within the gut of the baby. And these commensal bacteria, the microbiota within the intestine of the baby, they determine the physiology of the baby, not only the baby, but when this baby grows into a big human being, adult human being, this microflora within the gut, they determine the physiology as well as the pathophysiology of the baby. So these are the immune factors that are present within the human milk. Some are human milk oligosaccharides, some are gangliosides, there are immune cells within the breast milk, there are chemokines within the breast milk, the long chain polyunsaturated fatty acids. You have heard from my earlier speakers, the omega 3 fatty acids, the eicosapentaenoic acid, docosahexaenoic acid. They are all anti inflammatory in nature. The immunoglobulins, there are growth factors which help the different organs of the baby to grow. The proteins, these are the number of proteins that are present in the present. There are cytokines, and the most important is the probiotic group that form the microbiota within the intestine of the baby. First, I start with human milk oligosaccharide, and it is the third most important solid component after lactose and fat, and it is high in mothers who are between 24 to 28 years of age, and less in 14 to 18 years of age. There are more than 200 or different oligosaccharides that have already been detected in human milk. There may be more, and this is the very complex and no formula milk can produce these different types of oligosaccharides, and highly variable family of the unconjugated glycans, and its concentration is 5 to 12 grams per liter, and it is 100 times more than that found in cow's milk. So they are very, very important, and they differ between mothers. That is, a particular mother have his own composition of oligosaccharide, and the receptors for the absorption of the oligosaccharides, they resides in her child only, in the intestine of her child only. So this forms the mother child dyad, and it forms the variety, the differ that makes the difference between one mother to the other. So what are the functions of human milk oligosaccharides? They produce the intestinal mucosa development, the modulation of the immune responses. They also help in extra intestinal effects, that is cognition within the baby. It acts as a prebiotic, and bifidobacteria, this group of bacteria, they grow on this prebiotic, and they have the protective effect against diarrheal diseases. They block the adhesion of the pathogens on the intestinal mucosa. In the nowadays, the formula milk, they are contain about 9:1 galacto-oligosaccharides, but and is to fructo-oligosaccharides. But I have already that it is 200 different types. So only two oligosaccharides cannot replace 200 different types, and they have different functions, and they are mainly excreted in fecal excretion 99%, and only 1% is absorbed, and these oligosaccharides, they are targeted to different functions. It may be that we don't know all the functions of these oligosaccharides in different organs. These are the different structures. So human milk oligosaccharides, fucosylated oligosaccharides, ceacylated oligosaccharides, and non-fucosylated.
Excuse me, madam. You need to share your slide again.
Oh,
And I am requesting our IT partner to remove Binod. Okay, because he was presenting. Just remove her. Remove him. Just remove him. Madam, please share your slide again and please present yourself.
resume presenting.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, resume presenting. Yeah.
Yes. Is it okay? Okay. Is it okay? Is it okay? Origin?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it okay?
Ma'am,
Okay.
just
Okay.
put it in the slideshow mode, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
fucosylated, ceacylated, and non-fucosylated oligosaccharides, and they give the systemic immunity to the baby, and that is very, very important for the baby. The body length and the weight of the baby is directly related to the total carbohydrate concentration within the milk, and the fat mass is directly related to the daily intake of carbohydrate and the lactose. But the fat free mass, that is mainly the protein, is mainly associated with the concentration of total carbohydrate and human milk oligosaccharides. So human milk oligosaccharides, they prevent the attachment of the viruses and bacteria to the intestinal lumen. They also act as the prebiotics for the commensal bacteria that produce the microbiota within the intestine. They act as they help produce the short chain fatty acids from these microbials commensals, and they also help the maturation of the mucosal barrier. They help the modulation of the pathogen recognition through the TLR cells, the toll-like receptors, and the dendritic cells. They are also activated, and they induce the total immune system, the Treg cells, the B cells within the baby.
Madam, your voice is cracking.
Voice is again cracking. Now, hello, hello, hello. Is it okay? Hello.
Yes, yes, ma'am. It's
Yes.
okay, ma'am.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So there are many bioactive factors, bioactive peptides. These bioactive peptides, they are 20 amino acid peptides, and some of them are present in breast milk, while others are produced within the intestine when the proteins in the breast milk, they are digested by the proteases within in the intestine and the stomach, and these peptides are encrypted within the proteins of the breast milk proteins. So they enhance the immunomodulation. They act as antihypertensive agents, antimicrobial agents, and have many more functions. They are mainly immunogenic in functions. Metchnikoff have observed that human health and longevity are associated with ingestion of lactic acid producing bacteria. And we find that baby's intestine, when it is born, it is a sterile condition. The first microbes that the baby gets is through the breast milk. So it is breast milk is not sterile, and it contains bacteria belonging to Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus, Lactococcus, Staphylococcus, and Enterococcus. All these different types of probiotics, they grow within the intestine of the baby. So the colonization of these bacteria is very important, and they help in the they help to prevent infectious and non-infectious diseases when the baby grows up in the adult also. So it they prevents allergy, and again the composition of the microbiome is not at all permanent. When the baby grows, the lifestyle factors, the diet, those things, they will determine the microbiome and will change the microbiome. Yet, for the time being, during infancy, the gut microbial structure will facilitate the child's survival in this germy world. So, there is difference between breastfed infants and formula fed infants, and the stool is also very different. It is softer in breastfed and firm stool in formula fed, and the stool composition contains short chain fatty acids, high in acetate and more acidic in breastfed, and it is higher pH with more butyrate in formula fed. And the bacteria composition, it is a high content of bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, but the microbe, the content is less in the intestine in case of formula fed. So, breastfed and formula fed, these are the differences that have already shown, and the composition in the formula fed, the Clostridia, the Streptococcus, in equal proportions, we find them in along with Bifidobacterium. So, these are the bacteria which in case of formula fed, they come into the intestine and grow along with the bifidobacterium. So the probiotics have all these functions. I have already said that some of them is short chain fatty acid production, which is very important, and is immune, and it induces the immune system within the baby. So all these antibiotics, the factors, these are the different factors that influence the breast milk microbiota. The breast milk, the microbes that are present in the breast milk, they also changes along with these factors. So in the maternal gut, they have a specific composition of microbiota. In the breast tissue, we have a different composition of microbiota. In the maternal skin, we have the composition. So, skin to skin, what the previous speakers are talking, it is due to these microbiota, the different microbes in the skin, that helps the baby to grow the different composition within their intestine. And the infant's oral cavity, they have another group of microbes. So all these factors, they determine these microbiota within the breast milk. So in the case of preterm